HeroesCon 2026. It felt like it just stayed in the future forever, and then all of a sudden it was here. Went into town on Thursday, and Thursday, first thing, get into the hotel. It's 96 degrees on the west side of the city. Man, it was hot. I don't know what the best way to lay all of this out that's not going to take an hour and a half. Every day had highlights. Every day was a highlight. On that first day, after meeting up with all of my friends, we ended up hanging out in the hotel room. Adam had some personal things he had to go take care of, and so it was just me and Johnny and Brian hanging out in the hotel room for a bit, and then Doug and Alex, they came on in. And after that, we went to go grab some food. We had some plans for later that evening. Felix Liu over at Felix Comic Art, he had sent out an email about a week before for a movie screening, I guess you could call it, of a private event where he closed off a theater. It's called the Independent Theater in Charlotte, and it's a really nice, it's a very small theater there. And we had all of his clients were there. Daniel Warren Johnson, Nick Dragata, Clay Mann, James Hare, and his whole crew was there. It was really cool to have them in the same atmosphere as us. It was also kind of funny when Nick Dragata walked in and nobody even reacted, because I don't think anybody in the foyer hardly knew what he looked like, and that was quite humorous. Me and Adam chuckled a little bit about that. The movie was Midnight Run. It was great. I'd never seen that before. And before the movie, we were just all one crew, and it was a ton of fun. I don't know how many seats the place is. I've got a picture that sort of shows the outline of it. It wasn't just like 10 people or anything, but it might have been, I don't know, maybe 75 or so, possibly. I'm not real sure. But anyway, we had a great time. That was one of those nights that ended somewhere between. Well, we got back to the hotel around 12, I guess. And after driving and then knowing what was ahead for the next 3 days, it was time to get in and get some sleep for sure. First thing on Friday was just I wanted to make sure to get Daniel Warren Johnson. I had 3 main big ones that I really wanted were Daniel Warren Johnson, Nick Dragata, and Scott Snyder. And if everything lined up and there wasn't big lines and where I could get to him, I really wanted to get Larry Hama. I've never been at a place where he's signing. He's usually having conflicting events when he's at HeroesCon, because the Joe Fest is usually, or has been, that same weekend in the past. I also figured there was a chance that some, or even potentially all of those, were going to fall through, because lines are something that I never have very much luck with. I know there are long waits for especially anything to do with Absolute Batman right now. So I also made a backup plan. Just an alternative potential of just not wandering around wondering what I'm supposed to be doing. I went to the con with a very small budget. The hotel and rental car, that kind of stuff, it all just it pretty much zapped the budget. So this is pretty much a signature seeking convention for me to try to keep everything in check. Matter of fact, I only picked up 3 books. I got one from Daniel Warren Johnson that was one of his Invincible foil covers. He had a few of those left at his booth. And I did get a Space Ghost #1 variant that I did not have from Josh over at Buzz Comics. Another friend. We've been following each other for a long time, never met in person, so it was nice to actually get to sit and talk to him for just a little while, and picked up that book and a t-shirt from him. And the last book I picked up was from the Comics Curing Cancer booth, and they sold out real quick on a good bit of stuff. I'm happy for them for the success that they continue to have, and I'm looking forward to the event in October for sure. Can't wait. Again, had a blast with that last time. Spoiler alert, everything on the list, I got everything done that I wanted. All the long lines, and there were some long lines. I did Daniel Warren Johnson first, like I said, on Friday. That was get in with VIP at 10 o'clock. He was signing at 11, so you stand in line for an hour before he even shows up. And then it was about another 50 minutes or so to get to where my spot was in line to get up there. It's very quick, it's very rushed. There's very little space on the tables. So there's paint pens that are mostly used, I guess, on a lot of the stuff that he does, and a lot of creators do now. And they don't dry quickly. So you got the person in front of you's stuff is still sitting on the table, and the person in front of them still have a book, maybe, or two that are still on the table. So there's not a lot of space. Well, the top goal I had, the reason for meeting Larry Hama and Daniel Warren Johnson, was I wanted to get my magnet signed for the comic book cabinets. So I took off the top row and rolled them up nice and tight and kept them safe, bubble wrap, and double boxed and all that stuff so nothing can happen. And when I meet Daniel Warren Johnson, I get him to sign it, and now you've got this really massive magnet that's taking up the entire table space, along with the other two books that I had brought. And leave it to me to slide a perfectly good mint double-signed Transformers #1 right across the blue in the middle of the D right here and just smear it all to heck. And I was just, it killed me. And he was like, "Hey, don't worry about it." And he went and grabbed a white marker or a white paint pen and it just drew over it and fixed the autograph on there. But there was still the blue ink on the back of the book. Nothing we could do about that. But I'm also the guy who says he really only wants to collect things that have a story. I guess maybe I walked into that one on my own. But anyway, I was able to get him to do that, and he was very kind, very everything that you hear in the interviews. That he's that. He's got a great personality. He's really good with everybody that comes through. I know a lot's asked of him and all the popular folks right now, because comic books are hotter than they've been in a very long time. There's a lot of new people that are coming to comic conventions, going into comic shops. We know this. We know Absolute Batman is a huge driving factor. The entire Absolute universe is definitely it. And I don't know if all the other guys felt this way, and I haven't heard any numbers yet for HeroesCon from this year, but it was definitely more crowded in the aisles this year as I was walking to and from places. It wasn't like that at all last year for me, and I don't know how different that was. The place was set up almost identical to last year for all of the creators, the big names, the main names. They were all in the exact same location as they were last year. All of their lines were the same. Roy Thomas's line was a little bit different, but he was still back there on the back wall too on Saturday. But yeah, that was it's nice to see that it is continuing to grow and staying as big as it is. And yeah, you can tell from the long lines just how big of a driving force is, how big of a driving force the Absolute Universe is, for sure. Daniel Warren Johnson, off the list. I'm thrilled to death. I don't have a shot for Scott Snyder on Friday. He's not going to be there on Sunday. So he's going to be, he was my priority for Saturday. So after Daniel Warren Johnson, I wanted to make sure I got Brett Bean. I wanted to get his autograph. I had a first print of #1 from a buddy at work. He was wanting to get it signed, so I grabbed it and wanted to make sure to get that. And I had a couple of my own that I wanted to get signed as well, and got to meet him for a really quick second, and I totally forgot to take a picture with him on that day. So on Sunday, I was able to come back around and bring my second print of #1 that I had to see if I could just say, "Hey, can we have an alter ego autograph on the alter ego side of Dork here?" And then that turned out to just be an alternate color, which was cool too. But I was using all of this to be able to get a picture with him, and that ended up working out well. There was only one person in front of me, and that was actually Dave from West Coast Avengers and Direct Edition podcast. So it's cool watching them interact. Other big notes. Scott Snyder was on Saturday. That was a a little over 2 hour wait. The process for him, if you're going to go to a con to get something signed by him, he does a ticketing system. As soon as the con opens, there'll be somebody at his desk that'll have a roll of tickets, and they'll hand out so many tickets for a particular signing. This signing was from 11 to 1, so they started handing out the tickets when we came in at 9 a.m. And they told us not to line up until 10:30, and I said, okay. So I was hanging back around 10:30, and it had to be at least 200 people show up right at 10:30, and they were all cramming to try to get into the crowd. And that didn't appeal to me. So I knew he wasn't going to get there till 11. I had a ticket. I knew I was pretty good, so I actually headed down to Klaus Janson on Saturday in the meantime and grabbed a signature on my G.I. Joe 21. And then I came back to Scott Snyder's line and got in. And the person running the line also said, look, we're locking the line at 1. So if you have a ticket, you need to be back in here by like 12:45. That was actually pretty nice. There was a lot of good people in that line, a lot of interesting people. Everybody was patient. Everybody was in a great mood. And when you get up there, when I got up there and I got to meet Scott, it was one of the more pleasant interactions you could have with someone as popular as he is right now everywhere he goes. He is incredibly friendly. He looks at you in the eyes when he talks to you. You know, he's not just staring down. Yeah, he's got to hurry up and get these things done and get to the next person as quickly as possible. But it's like he actually he knows this means something to you. And even though he's had this same interaction 200 times before you got there, he understands the point that this is what you are going to take with you. And he really does put the effort in, and I really appreciated it. It made me an even bigger fan of his in the end. And I had 4 books to get signed from him. 3 of them I wasn't worried about the colors of it or anything. And I guess I probably shouldn't have been worried about the 4th one. But there was this issue that I saw a while back, and I just fell in love with the signature placements and with the colors of the signature. And so I was going to try to recreate that. And so I showed him a picture. I was like, can we redo this? And he's like, I don't have that marker color. But he said, I've got something fairly close to it. So he went and he started drawing, and something was wrong with the marker, and it just completely smeared as he wrote it. It didn't actually, ink to the paper or anything. It was weird. So he got rid of that marker, went and grabbed another one and tried to fix it, and everything was still a little wet. It just wasn't working right. And so he gets somebody else in the booth to go and try to find, his big bag. And so it's on the 4th marker that he finds after, a minute or two of having folks help him try to find a marker to find this exact color that this Yahoo's wanting. And he starts writing on the book. I was like, okay. And one of the helpers that was working with the book, working to try to find the marker, started chuckling and said, yeah, I wondered if you were going to do that. And I was trying to figure out where everybody was at for the looking for the marker, and I was trying to get my books out of the way to where we couldn't get bumped and that kind of thing, and trying to get ready for the next person to come in. Well, when I look back down and I go ahead and grab my camera as fast as I can, he's doing me a free Batman remark on there, and he's got thanks written on there, and he's fixed his autograph, and I mean, it was just really cool, and it was just really quick. He knew what he was doing, and he gets done, he looks at, he smiles at me, and he says, well, I guess you could tell your friends none of them have anything that looks like this, do they? And I was like, man, that's incredible, thanks. So I'm really happy to have had that interaction with him. That was really, really cool. The third big one, Nick Dragata, of course, that was a Sunday thing for me. Since Scott Snyder was on Saturday and he wasn't signing on Sunday, that made it to where the Dragata was going to have to be on Sunday. I about got in my own way because his signing was going to be from 2 to 5, and I went at like 10:30 that morning. You could VIP, we got in at 10. So about 10:30 I walked over and asked the guys. They tell me I need to be there no sooner than 45 minutes before the signing. He's signing at 2. So that tells me 1:15. I double checked. 1:15, is that good? And they said, yeah, in between 1 and 1:15, and you'll be fine. Awesome, great. So in between there, I go and I'm, knocking out a couple of autographs here and there, and then I need to go check out of the hotel room, go ahead and load the car up, and do all that kind of stuff. So I do all that, come back to the con at like 12:45 or so, and I go ahead and walk on out to Dragata's area, and I ask the guy, there's really long line there still, when can we start lining up at, for Nick Dragata's 2 o'clock? And he said, this is the end of the line way out here. And I looked and I was like, oh my goodness. And so I walked over there, and there was another guy at the end of that line, and he says, so how many have you got? And I was like, I just have 3. And he's like, okay, yeah, you're good. And that makes 4 more now. That's what he said. I didn't know what he meant, but it turns out they capped the line 4 people after me. So I don't know when they let people in. I don't know why they told me what they told me. So thankfully, I was able to be where I was, because this is now, it's 1 o'clock. He's not signing until 2. Well, he has like private appointments to where he sat down at like 1 and started signing 300-400 books for these retailers. They'll come in and he'll just, knock out hundreds and hundreds of books at a time. And I got lucky on Friday. While I was in the Daniel Warren Johnson line, I saw him doing this. And while I was back at the concession stand and just kicking back, taking a break, I threw my trash away. I turned around and I come back and started walking back to the floor. And here he comes. He's by himself. We're like in the back of the con area back there. And I had a chance to get his attention, and he came over. We had a one-on-one conversation for, maybe 5 to 6 minutes, something like that. And I asked him, I said, I just want to ask you one question. I was like, what does it do to you, to your mind, to your soul, when they bring these big giant stacks and put them down in front of you, and you know that, oh man, I'm going to be here for the next hour and a half just doing this stack? And he didn't miss a beat. He's like, I don't dread it at all. So it was neat to get to talk to him about it, and to realize that he is a very down to earth, a really, really great, person to talk to. Like I lost that time just like that. It just went by so quick, but it was such an easy conversation. We had, I had the movie, from the night before, that I was able to talk to him, since this was on Friday. And so that was like an immediate connection to have, like a good conversation starter. And just a random thing, today's Monday, it's the day after HeroesCon. Dave, West Coast Avenger, he had a release today for his Direct Edition podcast, and he had an episode with Nick Dragata that he recorded just a couple of weeks ago. Fantastic interview. Every interview that he does is, I can't come up with a better word than just quite, it's just perfect. He's had him with Daniel Warren Johnson, he's had him with Matt Fraction, he's had him with Scott Snyder, he's had him with everyone. And if you're not listening to it, you are incredibly lucky, because you get to go and you get to listen to all of these things for the first time. And I wish I could go back and listen to them all for the first time all over again. I've listened to most all of the big ones 2 and 3 times. And I will definitely go back and listen to this Nick Dragata again. I just listened to it tonight, and quite good. It's just perfect, Dave. But standing in line, we go through, and I'm able to get in there and get it. And I had 3 books for him to sign. And the picture that I got, I've had some friends just be like, oh, he's ready to get out of there, and that kind of thing. And I've got this weird look on my face because I've been in line for 3 hours, and I am absolutely shot. I am beat. I was able to get my book signed at 3:51 p.m. and he had a hard out at 4, it turned out. So we kind of knew that at about 2:30. At a little bit before 3, we found out he had a hard out at 4. And so there was a lot of nervousness in the back of that line. But he got everybody through. He needed to get out. I know he had travel, like most folks did too. But I'm incredibly grateful for the time that he and all the creators at HeroesCon take to do the travel, to do all of the talking to us, to do the panels that they do, to entertain us. It's not lost on me how much work it is. it's not lost on me that I couldn't do it. As much as I do love a lot of people, there's a lot that I would struggle greatly with, and the way that they handle things, with efficiency and a certain amount of grace is definitely impressive to me on a completely different level. So we got the big three. Those are good. Those are in the bag. I'm very happy. Again, like I say, there's no suspense here. I did get everything that I wanted to do. I got it all signed. That is including the Larry Hama signed magnet as well. So all of that is in the bag too. So he signed that. I got a G.I. Joe #1 as well, and that one I got signed by Rick Parker, who is the letterer, and Klaus Janson as well. Bob McLeod, who was the artist on that one. And then I also got him to do the G.I. Joe 21, which Klaus Janson was on, as well as Steve Leialoha. So all of those are on there, and the books look great. I'm really, really happy with those signature placements and just the overall look of the book. It was exactly what I was hoping for. Each day that I was there in the convention center, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I always make it a point, if I'm anywhere around and he's not tied up with anything, I'm always going to go talk to Mike Spicer. Mike's somebody that I think a lot of. He's someone that I check in with often, and of course he also has signed the cabinet there. That was the first person to sign it. He was actually the first person I went to in the entire convention. I was standing in the Daniel Warren Johnson line in that hour that we had to be there, but he wasn't going to be there for another hour. The guys I was standing in line with were cool enough to let me out, and I had a window to go talk to Mike, shake his hand, and get to talk to him for a few minutes. And again, I did go back a couple of times each over the next couple of days. And I forgot another book that I got that I did not take with me. Mike was selling the third print of the Absolute Batman #1 annual, and he did his killer signature. He dropped some crazy lines this week. He's taken his remark game up to another level, and I really, really like the signatures that he's doing on those remarks too. So huge thanks to Mike for constantly letting me pick his brain on different things, and just constantly being accessible whenever I'm around. I really appreciate him a lot. I had a good introduction with Justin LaRoque's dad, No Good Comics. His dad is Greg LaRoque, and Greg worked on The Flash. He also worked on, there it is right there. He worked on the Marvel Team Up 141, and I had that one signed by Arthur Adams, and I wanted to make sure that I got Greg LaRoque on that one as well. And so while I was doing that, I said, well, I also wanted to do my Web of Spider-Man #1, and I wanted to get him to do a couple of Flash books, #49 and #50. So I was able to get him to do all of those, and it was great getting to talk to him for a few minutes and sort of talking about Justin, and then he goes in and he does a good bit of talking about Marvel, and had some great stories, and I really appreciate the time that he took to sit and talk to me. So I'm looking forward to catching up with him again and spending a little bit more time talking to him next time as well. On that Flash 49 and 50, I ended up taking that on Sunday over to Jose Marzan Jr., and he knocked out a couple of good signatures for me on those, and I was appreciative of that. I darted over real quick to say hey to Ryan Miller. Ryan Miller was an artist alley too. See him or talk to him almost every time I'm in Longwood, just north of Orlando, and he is an artist on Godzilla. He's done Transformers, and he did a Transformers exclusive cover for Acme Superstore, and I talked to him a good bit about that, and we've talked a good bit since then. And it was good to talk to him and hang out, and I was excited to see him. If you get a chance, check out Ryan Miller. He's TG_ping on Instagram. I really, really, really like Ryan Miller. He's a great guy. I had several books to get signed by Tom DeFalco. I think I had as many for him as I did for anybody else. I believe I had 4 was the most I had for anyone, and I did have 4 books for Tom DeFalco. But I'll show all the books here in just a few minutes and let you see what they all look like, all signed and everything. But the main story with Tom DeFalco, I actually saw him every single day of the convention too. That was partly because I only had a couple of books at a time in my backpack because I didn't have a cart or anything. I wasn't gonna just haul everything because I knew I was gonna be standing an awful lot. But I did like 2 on Friday, I did 2 on Saturday, but on Saturday I screwed up and it almost ate me worse than it really should have, I guess, but I let it get to me. I was going around doing exact change for all the creators and trying to, not ask anybody for change. I don't want to be, a hassle. I want to get in, I want to get out and not have anybody behind me have to wait on me. But I had gotten to the point to where all I had left was a $100 bill, and he was $10 a piece on his autographs, and I had 2 for him to sign on Saturday. And I asked him if he had change, and he's like, I think that I do. And he remembered that we had talked the day before, and I had my Impress gear on, and he asked about, what is cleaning and pressing, and we talked for, 4 or 5 minutes on that. And I gave him my card and told him, there's some videos you can watch and the things that I've done, and I'll be glad to send him before and after pictures if he cares about any of that in the future. And I don't know, it was a very good conversation overall. He reached in and he had change and he pulled out the $80, and I was like, okay, that's great, because I was really wanting to get you to sign these books. So I pulled out the last 2 books that I had for him to sign, and he goes ahead and puts a signature in, and I'm thanking him so much for doing that. I put the books back in the bag and I'm getting ready to go. I've already, I grabbed the change, put it in my wallet, and before I go, he says, well, you took the change, but I don't think you gave me the 100. And my heart sank, and it just ate me alive that I almost walked off with $80 of his money and not giving him the $100 bill. I apologized over and over and over and over again, and I don't know, his face didn't give me any assurance that it was okay, if you know what I mean. I gave him the $100 bill and told him I'm so sorry and all that kind of stuff. I didn't get a picture with him. It was just not gonna happen. This wasn't the moment. So the next morning with Mr. DeFalco, I was actually going down the elevator, and when it came down to my floor, there he was. He was in the elevator, and so we walked out of the elevator together, and I was like, so how has your weekend been? And he was in a good mood. He's like, it's been quite well, I'm blessed and that kind of thing. So I was like, oh, okay, well, this gives me a chance to hopefully apologize one more time and be okay. And I told him, I said, man, I am so sorry about that. And I told him, I was like, this has been killing me all night. I was like, I didn't want to really eat my dinner last night. All I can think is just how poor of an example it was showing to you, for somebody with appreciation for you, that almost happened. He's like, no, don't ever think about it again. He said, there was so much going on that day, so loud, there were so many things happening, people in front of you, behind you. He said, don't even worry about that again. He said, you were all right. So I really appreciate that. That helped me out so much. And then I was able to grab a picture with him. We actually walked all the way to the convention together, walked in there, down to the floor, all that. It was nice to be able to talk about everything from New York. Of course, the Knicks had won the championship the night before. We talked about that. We talked about the Jets. I don't know. It was just nice to just have a one-on-one chat while we're talking. We're not really even talking about comic books or anything. We're just talking about normal stuff. So it was really good. I'll definitely continue to find Mr. DeFalco every time I can, just to tell him that I appreciate him and thank him for everything that he's done on the books that I've grown up with. I got lucky on Saturday and was able to take Wolverine 8, Uncanny X-Men 266, and Uncanny X-Men 207 over to Chris Claremont because his line wasn't bad at all. I ended up getting in and waited about 45 minutes, and he was his normal talkative self to everyone. It's always fun to get to watch a creator get a book that they haven't seen in a long time and that they really like, and they want to continue to just look through it. They want to read it again because they haven't seen it in a long time. And it was really fun to watch a genuine moment from him of seeing a book that he hadn't seen in a long time. And when I was in line with Daniel Warren Johnson, the guy behind me took a picture of me talking to him, And he did it all on his own. I didn't ask him, didn't know he was doing it. And when I got done, he tapped, before he even tells Daniel Warren Johnson hi or anything like that, he taps him on the shoulder and he tells me, hey, I got a picture of you guys talking. Let me get done and I'll give you my number, or give me your number and I'll text it to you. I was like, man, thank you. And so I get this, this little half of a second right here from this kind guy behind me that I would have never been able to get back. And that really stuck with me, and so I did that the entire rest of the weekend. I would have my phone working with the person in front of me on every one that didn't have somebody else with them, I should say. And so it was nice to be able to meet new people that way too, and say, hey, look, I got this, I got that. So while Chris Claremont is scrolling through this guy's book, I ended up popping the camera out and getting some footage there, and it was nice. It's not things that you see every day. It was really good. Biggest surprise for me was Rick Parker. So Rick Parker, he was a letterer in the 80s for Marvel. He was on the G.I. Joe #1. He did Transformers, early Transformers stuff. So I had a Transformers #5 for him. But he was on Beavis and Butthead later in the 80s, and that's really what he's known a lot for. But when I went there, his signatures were $25 a piece, and like my budget's pretty tight, and I decided, okay, I'm just gonna get the G.I. Joe one. Well, when we started talking, his wife is there at the table with him, and before I know it, it's been minutes and minutes, and we're talking about life, we're talking about different family things, we're talking about health and planning for the future, just not money wise, but like mentally, and where do you want to be, where have you been, and like he is actually trying to learn who I am, and not in a weird way. It's like he's really interested. He sees a cleaning and pressing thing that he's never heard of before, and he wants to know what it is. Well, why do you do this? Well, when did you start? And then it went into one thing after another, and then it circles back around to make sure you're taking care of yourself, make sure you're watching out for the others around you that can't take care of themselves, not just the ones who are currently depending on you. There's other ones that don't know that they need help. And it's getting really deep as I'm trying to explain it here, but like it was a very genuine conversation, and I'm incredibly thankful for it. I didn't know that I would get that from him and his wife either. It was good. It was a huge highlight for me at this convention. And one of the things that before I walked off, he's like, wait a minute, come back. He said, I'm going to give you one of these. And so it's a print that he had on there. He said he only made 50 of them, and it was something that means a lot to him, and he was excited to give that to me, and I was certainly happy to receive it for sure. And the conversation that I had with him was one I will never forget. I'm very, very glad that I met him, and both of them, he and his wife, were really a treat to talk to. So I recommend you find Rick Parker and carve out a couple of minutes to try to have a good conversation with him. While I'm digging down in the magic pile, another thing I wanted to show you is from Larry Hama. He had the print of the original art of the Silent Interlude, and I couldn't turn it down, and he ended up signing it for me down there on the bottom. It just looked too cool. For like a split second when I saw it on the table, I knew he didn't own it, but I thought that was the real thing, and I thought, this is something that I need to have in my possession. So yeah, they were selling prints of that, which were really, really cool. I'm very, very happy to have that, and looking forward to getting it into a frame. But yeah, that's a lot of the stories from the con floor. I had a great time with all the guys that we were hanging out. I had a lot of hangout time with Johnny from Johnny's comic stuff, and think a lot of him, and then was able to spend a good bit of time with Brian LCS again, and getting to hang out with Adam from up in Adam Comics a lot. The comic collector coach Alex, Longest Cosplay, is a new friend. And speaking of Alex, on the drink and draw that happens on Friday in the hotel, they hand out, you get these little coasters, and then on the other side you draw and it can go for auction. But I realized I'm not the only huge fan of the red and blue Superman from the late 90s. Alex is a huge fan of those books. And I knew there were a bunch of people out there, I've just never met one. And so it was great to have a new friend to talk Electric Superman stuff with, because everybody else thinks I'm ridiculous for spending any money on that. So anyway, I came home with a coaster that he gave to me of Electric Superman and a nice note from him. So I appreciate that, Alex. I'll treasure that little thing, and I will look forward to picking up another Electric Superman and sending you pictures as I get it from here on. Let's see. I might as well just not bury the lead anymore. If you've seen my Instagram page, you've already know what the biggest thing that I got at this convention is. So before I go through the books here, and I'll do that really quick. When I first got into the convention center and I got my VIP badge, the crew was hanging out over there, of Johnny and Adam, and Derek Cameron Tree stopped by, and I believe Jeff at Outer World Comics had come around through there too, and I hung out with Jeff a little bit, sitting at a table there while I was waiting for the Scott Snyder line to get cranked up. So it's good to hang out and talk with those guys. But Adam had a portfolio with him, and when I came back, he said, I have something I need to give you. And before I show you this, I want you to check out the book I've got here, Mask #1. You know me, you know Mask is #1 for me. Transformers obviously is 2, and G.I. Joe as well, but it was always Mask, then Transformers, and then G.I. Joe when I was growing up, and throughout, until now. But this Mask #1 cover is the start of it, and the day before is when the new Mask comic book was just released in Energon Universe, all the blind bags, all that good stuff. And I was so excited, like riding this Mask high, and Adam opens up his portfolio, and this is what he drew for me. I could not believe it. Oh man, he drew all of this for me. He replaced Rhino with Optimus Prime. He got rid of the Condor flying motorcycle, which was my least favorite Mask thing anyway, and he's got the Baroness. And then we've got it can either be Hound from G.I. Joe, from Transformers, or a G.I. Joe Jeep that's replacing Gator down there. And Thunderhawk is still flying high like it should. And he replaced Matt Tracker with Matt from Impressed Comics. It's just pure gold. I love it. And then the same up here, he replaced the Rhino part of the logo with Optimus Prime again. I cannot wait to get this framed, and I don't know what I'm going to have to take down to find a place for it, but it will be behind me, and it will be behind me soon, because I never want to go a day without seeing this thing again. This is one of the coolest things I have ever been given, and I am so incredibly happy about this. Thank you so much, Adam. I will never not smile when I see that, and I cannot thank you enough for doing that all the time you took. And make sure to keep watching across Instagram. Adam did this for several other guys this weekend. It was either 6 or 8 people he did art for. Like he's been working for the last several months on all of these. It's incredible. So yeah, make sure to check out everybody else's Instagram and sort of just track Up and Adam Comics. He just knocked it out of the park. But that's pretty much story time. So I'm gonna get to just scrolling through some books. I'm gonna let you see kind of what they ended up looking like, and I think the talking part for me will be finished. I hope that you watch everybody else's videos on HeroesCon for their recaps, and try to figure out a way to get out there with us next year. It's great to see you. If you ever see me walking around any show of any kind and I got a backpack on, make sure to just come up and say, hey, you need to give me some stickers, because I get caught up talking to people all the time, completely forget that I have a lifetime supply of Impress comic stickers and business cards and all kinds of crazy stuff like that in my backpack, and I have it for one reason, and that's to hand it out to new friends. And I forget every time, and I come home with a backpack full of stickers and business cards and things like that. So hopefully I will do better soon, and I'll hold you accountable to making me do so in the future. But with all that, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to show you some books, and then I'm going to get out of here. But I hope you're doing well. I hope you've got some fun stuff coming up. But just remember to take care of yourself and take care of everybody else around you. And if you will, do one thing nice for a stranger tomorrow, and try to make tomorrow a better day for somebody else. But that's it for me. Enjoy the book scroll here, and I will talk to you soon.